Alrighty, everybody. It is currently Wednesday, May 28th, 2025. It took me about three attempts to get that one down. It took me it took me a while. I was like, wait, do I say Wednesday first or after? Where does the Wednesday go? And that does reflect, what I've been doing lately, which is the weed. I've been on the weed, the devil's lettuce. It's been driving me insane. That's the thing about weed. Like weed, if you're on the edge, like if you're on the edge of being schizophrenic and you smoke a fuck ton of weed or take like a really strong edible, then you can go insane. But alcohol can't do that to you. That's the thing about alcohol that like it's why it was the only thing that was legal for so long, right? Because worst case scenario on alcohol is you kill a few people while you're driving. No big deal. People will just be like, fucking insane guy, whatever. They'll ignore it. But if you smoke so much weed that you become schizophrenic, like that's something about that is a bigger deal. And so because it like permanently changes your state of mind as opposing to just one real quick drunk driving incident where eight or nine children burned to death in a Chrysler Pacifica. Like those those are two very different things. I don't think I'm going insane. I think I'm just not getting good enough sleep, which is just another reason I know I'll never be like a drug addict. Like that's always been a fear of mine in life ever since I was probably too young for it to have been a fear. Since like second grade, I've been like, dude, I cannot fucking. When I was younger, it was like I saw people like smoke cigarettes or drink or whatever, and I was like, I can't, I'll never fucking do that. And then as I got older, it progressed along. But in second grade, I was like, dude, I'm gonna end up on the streets. I'm gonna end up fucking talking to walls and shit from smoking too many cigarettes and drinking Coors Light. God damn it. When in actuality, it's the opposite. Most people that smoke a lot of cigarettes and drink light beer are decently successful in life. You know what I mean? Because that's almost like a social thing. Like if you're a real alcoholic, you're not drinking Coors Light. I'm sick and tired of hearing these people. Oh, that guy's an alcoholic. If you're only on like beer and like the White Claws and shit like that, you're not an alcoholic yet. Wine is on the precipice of okay, you might be an alcoholic. I'm talking if for you to be a real alcoholic in my mind, you need to be drinking like that shit that fuels cars, that ethanol, that shit from Iowa that they fucking cut gas with to make it cheaper. If you're not drinking on that, you're not an alcoholic in my opinion. I don't know. That's just how I feel about it personally. Unless you're like Native American or something like that, maybe then you're an alcoholic, but everyone else, I want to see you fucking throwing back gallons. You know what I mean? Gallons of just undistilled, just pure vodka, man. That's what I want to see. I want to see shit that could like melt the skin off your body. I want like your face to be fucked up from how much alcohol. You need to look like you need to have like Joker scars on your face from where like the alcohol you were drinking was so strong that it like melted off parts of your face. You know what I mean? For me to consider you like a real alcoholic. Everyone else, yeah, you might have like an alcohol dependency, but you ain't one of the big dogs. You ain't out here like if you ain't willing to suck dick for just a red solo cup full of shitty McCormick vodka, you're not an alcoholic in my opinion. I don't know. It's just the way I feel about it, right? It's like cocaine. A lot of people, I feel like cocaine use is a lot higher than people realize. A lot of people snort cocaine, but they're not like coke heads. You know what I mean? Like they drink a little bit too much one night. Someone's like, "Yo, I have some coke," and they do a line, and then they're talking about business plans for the rest of their life. I'm talking about a real cocaine addict. If you've never been in a motel just for like the purpose of drugs, then you don't need to go to rehab. That's how I feel about drugs. Like if you're in a motel, if you're for any reason in a motel for drugs in any way, shape, or form, I don't care if it's a bachelor party, if you're fucking, smoking meth for a week straight, I don't care what it is. If you're in a motel for drugs, then you need to go to rehab. Anything other than that, anything less than that, I just don't want to hear it. Like, oh, I had to crash on my friend's couch. It's like that's 90% of people have to do that nowadays. 90% of people 30 and below are living on couches right now. So that doesn't count. All right, maybe if it was like the 1960s when you could fucking walk into an accounting firm and become the CEO in 10 minutes and buy a house for a fucking 50 cents or whatever. Okay, maybe then you were an alcoholic. But now you end up on a dude's couch and it's like, fuck, dude, you got a couch? I'm on a tent, dude. I'm on the sidewalk. I don't even got a couch. I am sleeping on a couch actually, but it's outdoors outside of an abandoned fucking gym. It's outside of an abandoned Genesis Health Center. But so you gotta really be a drug addict for me to consider you one. I wouldn't say I've ever been a drug addict. Maybe before I smoked gas station weed for a summer and that really probably permanently fucked me up, if not mentally, surely physically. I used to smoke this shit called HHC. And if you don't know what that is, maybe you've heard of like Delta 8 or something like that. HHC is kind of like Delta 8, right? Like it's a compound within like the marijuana plant that's not federally illegal so that you can like sell it at like gas stations and shit like that. It's not like K2 or Spice, like that shit where they like change the molecule a little bit. This shit is found in weed, but it's not found in high enough quantities, so it is synthetic. So I was smoking on synthetic weed from the gas station for an entire summer. That shit, when you get to the bottom of those things, man, that's like sucking on a fucking exhaust pipe. You know what I mean? That's like when you hear your transmission grind. That's probably like the fumes that come off of that are what's in like the end of an HHC gas station cart. And so I smoked on that for a little while, but I wouldn't say I was addicted. I quit pretty quickly. The only thing I've ever really been addicted to, jerking off, obviously. I'm thinking about dropping a top five, maybe top 10 hub categories of all time. You know, a definitive ranking as someone who is, I would say, an expert. I'd say I've moved through the phases of them fairly well. You know what I mean? I've played for a few teams. I've seen the league. I'm a bit of a journeyman when it comes to that game. You know what I mean? I'm scrolling through categories, seeing what new ones are coming out, which ones are getting bigger, which ones are at the top of the recommended. So I'd say I'm an expert on that. So I'm probably going to drop a ranking of the categories pretty soon. And then I'd say I've been addicted to nicotine. That's the other thing. But nicotine is the ultimate drug. I was I was talking about this at my friend's little sister's graduation party the other day. It's the ultimate drug, right? It's you got a bit of a caffeine type of kick in there, like it wakes you up a little bit, gets your brain moving a little bit. It keeps you skinny too, kind of like caffeine. It because if you're smoking cigarettes all day, that like I think it like suppresses your appetite. If you got a shit that you can't get out, throw a couple Zins in there. You're gonna be popping them out like a fucking like an Irish Catholic mom having babies, dude, having triplets. It truly is the greatest one on earth, and I love it. I love it more than anything, and I think everyone else agrees with me, right? I feel like caffeine is probably number one, but that's kind of a bullshit one. You know, like people definitely are addicted to it. I don't think people realize how addicted to caffeine some people are. Like the whole stereotype of, oh, don't talk to me before I've had my coffee. Everyone's like, he's grumpy in the morning, right? It's like, no, he's addicted to a drug, right? Like that's what that is. You could have like 8 hours of sleep, some of these people, right? And they would still need like a fucking double mocha triple shot frappa shithole from $5 or whatever. And so yeah, these people are addicted to a drug. That's that's all it is. It's not like they're getting enough sleep. Like if you have a kid or something, if you have a newborn that's waking you up in the middle of the night, or if you're working like 12-hour shifts, okay, then you need caffeine to get that energy boost. Everyone else is just like addicted to the drug. So but that's probably number one. Tobacco's it might be number one though, dude. If you've ever seen the Chinese, if you've ever seen like trashy East Asians, I'm not talking like the fucking, the K-pop stars and the anime, whatever the fucks. I'm talking about real Asians, right? You know what I mean? Asians that are basically from West Virginia, because that's what most of South Korea is, right? Everyone thinks of like Seoul and like maybe like the Parasite family or fucking K-pop or whatever the fuck when you're talking about South Korea. Most people in South Korea are like small town fucking hillbillies and they smoke cigarettes all day. They wear tank tops. They probably don't get in too many fist fights. I don't know. They might have that samurai code. There might be some samurai duels still going on in South Korea. People are like, oh, that's Japan. It's all the same. It's all the same. But they fucking love their cigarettes over there. Same with like Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand. But I don't think Asians consider those guys Asians. You know what I mean? They're like the Italians of Asia. It's like, are you really? Are you really? They love tank tops though. That's a common theme that Italians and like East Asians share. They fucking love tank tops. And I think that might be like some Silk Road Alexander the Great bullshit or like the Roman Empire or something like that, dude. Like the Silk Road, it brought like pasta to Italy. It also brought tank tops, or maybe vice versa. Maybe Italy had the tank tops first, introduced them to East Asia, but something about them. That's an important cultural link between East Asia and Italy. There's a few of them. There's a few of those cultures. They love eggplant. I had some it was like Thai curry, whatever the fuck, had some eggplant in it. The Italians, they love the eggplant parmesan. Great Italian accent there. Love noodles. and that's it. That's really the only links between the two. I guess the Philippines, maybe if you include the Philippines as Asian, but then we're starting to get even I'm like those guys aren't Asian. Even I'm not that into the whole who's Asian, who's not Asian thing. That's a game for them to play. I'm not a, I can't play that game with them too much. Although I do, I will wildly speculate about who's Asian and who's not Asian. But even I'm like Philippines, does that really count? You guys are like, you guys are they're not like that, right? Same with like Indonesia. That I don't think Indonesians consider themselves Asian either. But that's an interesting game you can play, right? I wonder if Africa has any of those. Like you're not you're not African, dude. You don't count. I'm sure there is some kind of disparity there, between like the North African, like the Arab people up there, and then like the people in sub-Saharan Africa. I'm sure there's a little bit of a disparity there, but I don't know. You are from Uganda. You are not really African. I can't imagine them doing that one. I think it's like once your society, like your culture and your civilization develops a whole bunch, then you start making those distinctions. But now, for now, they're like, dude, we're still fucking, we're still basically colonized right now. So we can't focus on who's not African and who is African. We gotta figure this whole thing out first. And yeah, Africa, fucked up situation. It's bad. It's bad what's going on in Africa. They've been having some bad weather for about 100 years over on that continent. An entire continent just completely fucked over. Just complete shit for 100 years. So you'd think they'd be like the most angry, but I feel like the Arabs are the most angry for sure. By far, dude. They go white boy crazy. The Arabs constantly, dude. They're constantly forming like emo groups. Basically, like ISIS is basically emos, if you think about it, right? They love dressing up in black. They love screaming all the time, right? Like emos listen to that screamo music. They love like taking a religion and twisting it a little bit. Like ISIS took Islam, twisted it around to do what they wanted with it. The fucking emos, they're always wearing like upside down crosses and shit. So if you think about it, if you really think about it like that, ISIS is basically emos. They're dressing in black, they're screaming constantly about nonsense, and they they really love suffering, right? Like ISIS just loves suffering. Yeah, I don't even think that they're freedom fighters. They're like maybe like the first dude who started. I think it started out as like an Al Qaeda splinter cell. It was like Al Qaeda, guys. We're not having enough fun over here. We're gonna start our own thing. It's gonna be called ISIS. It's gonna be sick as hell, dude. We're gonna wear all black and fucking drive around in Toyota trucks and shit. Yeah, they're emos. There is there are some other groups like that, that are kind of emo-ish, which just makes them so much lamer. Like ISIS was already pretty lame, just like cutting off like babies' heads and like not letting like 12-year-olds go to school or whatever. But that just made them even more lame. At least that shit you can be like, they're getting active, you know what I mean? They're cutting heads off, shooting 12-year-olds in the heads so they don't learn how to read, shit like that. You can be like that and you're like, look, I disagree with it. At least the guys are having fun though. But when you think about them as emos, it destroys them, and that is an important lesson there, right? You the substance of the thing that you're fighting probably isn't going to change a whole lot, so you got to change their image, right? Like Israel. If Israel really wanted support, which I don't think they do. I don't think they care. They're like, we know the US is going to keep giving us, fucking $1 trillion every year, whatever the fuck we give them. And so I think they don't care as much, but if they wanted like the American people on their side, and they tried this a little bit, they did try it a little bit where they were like, there's trans people in Israel or whatever, which just stratified it even further. Like maybe some people on the left were like they hopped over to the whole Israel thing. That pushed away the people on the right. You got to go gay with that, all right? You can't go trans or you could maybe go lesbian. I feel like Americans, especially like right-wing Americans, really fuck with lesbians pretty heavy. Most of them are pretty sick. You do got a few gay lesbians in there, but most of them are fucking alpha male as fuck. They're the most masculine people in America. Dude, lesbians are the only group of people in America who are allowed to be masculine anymore. Like men, maybe it's making a little bit of a comeback, but I still feel like it's some soy boy pussy whipped bullshit. But lesbians, dude, lesbians are still beating chicks' ass. They're still laying down the law like that, like it's the 1950s still. So I think the right wing, they still fuck with them. They love sports, dude. They love like corporate sports like the NBA and the NFL and like MLS and shit like that. These things that are maybe the NFL and the NBA to a lesser extent, but the MLS to a full extent is just like this complete corporate entity that like tries to like manufacture culture and shit like that. They love that shit. They love the fucking MLS. And they hit the gym a fair bit, and they hit the gym in a fairly American way where they don't really work out. If you ever see, if you see a straight chick in the gym, dude, she's hitting like Russian twists. She's doing the whole fucking thing, hitting the Stairmaster hard as fuck. Like a straight chick will work out hard as fuck in the gym. A lesbian will work out like a man in the gym. You know what I mean? Like, like I'm just gonna put as much weight as I can on for curls. I'm gonna do that a few times, hit the fucking pools, stare at some tits, and then leave, dude. Like that's how lesbians, that's how they view working out, right? They're not like straight chicks, where straight chicks are like trying to change their bone density or whatever the fuck. No, they do that shit masculinely. I don't know if that's a word, but that's how the fuck they do it. And so I think if Israel went with that plan, if they were like, dude, we got lesbians in Israel, they rule hard as fuck, dude. They're basically men over here. Like they're cutting off Palestinian heads, but they're some boss ass lesbian bitches. I feel like you could have got the right on that one and maybe drawn in some people from the left too, but they just don't care, right? Like Ukraine tried that thing where they were like, Ukraine is friendly towards either Putin does not like trans people. He does not like when the men cut off their penis and the woman cut off her tits, but we do. We love it. We love. I will do it for free. I will cut off the tips and the tits and stack them up like buffalo skulls. You know that picture of that. If you've never seen that picture before, it's when America was trying to like wipe out all the bison on the Great Plains to like fuck with the Indians and so they could build the railroads and shit like that. I'm just imagining that, but in Ukraine with just like a pile of tits being like some dude standing on top of the pile with like a rifle or something like that. Being like, look at all these tits we cut off. All right, now give us $100 billion so we can fight, so we can fight Russia. But they're Nazis, full on. The fucking Ukraine loves the Nazis because during World War II, Ukraine was like occupied basically by the Russians. The Russians were trying to they were trying to like I guess Russianize, I guess is maybe the word that you would use there, Ukraine, right? Like they were trying to take the culture away from Ukraine. I think they did. I think they did a pretty successful job at that. I think they killed like 10 million Ukrainians in like a designed famine or whatever like that, which has made the Ukrainians love the Sorry, it made the fucking Ukrainians love the Nazis even more, dude. They love them so much. I don't know if Azov is a Nazi. I wonder if that's a dude, because that's what the Nazi battalion was in Ukraine. Azov is a yeah. I don't think that was a dude. I know there's a Sea of Azov. Where does the name Azov comes from? Okay, it's derived from a town. And there is like the Sea of Azov, which is a place which it would be crazy if they got a whole sea named after a Nazi. But I feel like there's probably seas in like Indonesia or something like that that are named after colonial dudes that killed like 10 million people so that they could get like cinnamon or nutmeg or whatever the fuck they were trying to get. So it wouldn't be the worst one. You know, it would probably be up there a little bit, but there's some places named after some pretty shitty people, especially in like China and all that, or like Turkey or wherever the fuck, where they just completely deny like the genocides that they commit constantly, right? Like Turkey committed a genocide against like the Armenian people because they're Armenians are Orthodox Christian, and then I don't know what type of Muslim the Turks are. I don't know, probably Sunni Muslim, but they were chopping some fucking heads off, and they probably got some big ass cities named after the dude who was chopping all the heads off. But they deny it. They're like, no, no, we didn't commit the genocide. And it's like, dude, we got a pile of bodies right here. What the fuck are you talking about? But it's like no one cares. No one cares about the Armenians. People look at Armenians basically like that, how they look at like people from Afghanistan or whatever. They're like, dude, they're just always fucking fighting over there. Which is it's a funny thing that people say when they're like the Middle East has just been in war forever, right? Like they say that about the Middle East, and so they're like, fuck it, who cares what they're doing over there? They're chopping off baby heads, who gives a fuck? They've been fighting forever. But the funny thing about that is like Europe has had more war than like any other continent. Like Asia maybe, like China maybe had as many wars, but like Europe by far has like the most recorded like battles of all time. And everyone's like, no, it's the Middle East. It's the Middle East. Those are the violent ones over there. They have a history, a deep history of violence. Meanwhile, the two world wars, right? The two wars that changed the entire course of history, the wars where the most people died primarily happened in Europe. I guess, but that's not true though. People think People think that's true, right? But I think number one is the USSR had the most deaths in World War II, which is that probably happened mostly in Europe. But China's number two, dude. China had like 30 million people die in World War II. And that wasn't even on like some communist Russian shit, right? Like we think of China as communist. During World War II, the communists in China, right? Like it was Mao Zedong. He didn't fucking fight. He was just like, no, I'm not doing this shit. It was the capitalists. It was like Chiang Kai-shek fighting the Japanese over there. Which props to the Japanese too, by the way. People give the Germans all the credit, being like, dude, the Germans thought they were gonna take over the fucking world. They were retarded, but I mean that's pretty sick. They really thought they were gonna get active. The Chinese, they got close to, or not the Chinese, the Japanese. The Japanese got pretty fucking close in doing that, dude. They held America for a little bit, not really though, but there was some semblance there, and they fucked up the Chinese, dude. But the thing about the Chinese, they have like that Soviet, that Russian spirit in them, just like that Americans and like Anglos don't have, where it's just like throw as many fucking people as you can at the problem, right? Like Britain doesn't have that. France certainly doesn't have that. They gave up immediately in World War II. That's like the whole thing, right? Like Hitler crossed the border into France and they immediately gave like France was part of like Nazi Germany for like 10 years because they just immediately, like Hitler was just like, yeah, give me that. And they're like, okay. Right? Like they don't get that dog in them that like that. They don't get that Chinese dog in them. The Chinese have that dog in them, certainly. Certainly, especially when like the whole country's in war and everyone's starving. They were definitely munching on leg of dog and the eye of newt and whatever the fuck that else they have going on there. But they do have that spirit in them of just throw as many people as you can at the problem. And eventually something will stick, right? Like America doesn't do that. We're like, oh, research and development. No, dude. America needs to import at least 10 million Indians and just throw them at every problem. Yeah. That is one of the conspiracy theories around like mass illegal immigration or even legal immigration is you import like all these people and then you just have them fight wars for you, which I don't think they're going to do, right? Like that's the thing that gets me about that conspiracy or like that idea, that theory is that they're not going to do that, right? Like a bunch of Indians are going to be like, no, we're just going to go back to India. The fuck are you talking about, dude? We've been here for 20 minutes. We're not gonna go fight in fucking Afghanistan for you. We're just gonna go back to Mumbai and like shit in the street or whatever. Shitting in the street alive is better than dying in Afghanistan or Iraq or wherever the fuck they're trying to send these Indians to. So that theory doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It's like, no, they're not they're not gonna do that. But I don't know. The leaders are pretty stupid, especially because they've been like rich for so long, right? Like these families that allegedly control everything. The Vanderbilts, the Rockefellers, like the old money families, they've been rich for so long. They're like, of course, these savages will fight for us. So I don't know. I don't know what they're cooking up over there, but you got to get people into it, right? You got to get them into the American spirit. They got to have at least one hot dog. And I don't know if Indians eat hot dogs. They might eat pork hot dogs, but they're not eating cow hot dogs, which is crazy. That is the most insane thing I've ever heard. That they don't eat cow, right? Like they think people are reincarnated as cows, or like the whole cows are like they're fucking livestock. What do you talk? Cows like don't exist in the wild anymore, right? Like we've replaced all the wild cows. Cows are descended from an animal called the oryx. Like that's wiped out. Cows are like there's no such thing as a natural cow. So I don't know where they came up with that one. That was a crazy fucking pull by them. They were just like chose a random animal. They had that little toy that you give little kids where they like pull the lever and it's like the cow goes moo. Right? Like they had one of those things. They're like, okay, cows are not sacred. We figured it out. Like at least with the whole Islam pig thing, pigs are a nasty fucking animal, right? Like they're a pretty gross one in terms of the animals. They lay in shit all day, so I can kind of understand how they came up with that one. Cows though, that's like banning chicken, dude. It's like the fuck you, what are you talking about? The dumbest animal. And the thing, those animals are very stupid, right? Like cows and chickens, they don't even care about each other. Like chickens will they will rip each other to pieces. I don't know if cows do that. I haven't spent enough time around cows, but I'm pretty sure from what I've seen about sheep, they'll definitely fucking kill each other. Like they'll fucking murder babies and shit like that. So I don't know. And it's like it's better to be reincarnated as a cow, dude. I don't know. I don't know, dude. That is a crazy pull. A crazy pull by them. I'd be like, no, dude, if you live a sick ass life, you get reincarnated by like as a shark or a fucking elephant or something sick like that. But they were like, no, cows. That's the one. That's the one you get re an animal that doesn't even do anything like sick as fuck. It doesn't look cool or anything. That's the one you get reincarnated as, all right? Like a thing that's just destined to stand and eat grass all day. Like that's like the cow play style. Like that's how cows live their life on Earth. They just stand and eat grass all day. I'd be like, no, dude, you get reincarnated as a shark, dude. You're in the fucking ocean doing flips, grabbing divers, grabbing seals and shit like that. But they were like, no, cows, cows, man. It's the only reason Hinduism isn't bigger. If Hinduism, if they embraced my shark idea, if they were like, dude, you get to come back, whatever your favorite animal is, you're a falcon or an eagle guy, you come back as that one if you live a sick ass life. If they did that, I think it would be the biggest religion in the world by far, right? Because that's how you get people on board with a religion. It's not like the ideology or like the philosophy or whatever the fuck behind it. It's like, no, which one is the sickest? That's why Islam is like the fastest growing religion in the world. It's so fucking sick, dude. It's constantly it's almost like Nazi-ish, right? Where it's like, no, you rule harder than everyone else. Your only purpose in life is to fucking spread this to everyone else because it rules so hard, dude. That's how you get them. That's kind of what Christianity did. Whereas some of these other religions, right? Like they had these like castes and these stratas within them. Even Islam has like castes within it. Like some sects of Islam have castes. Like these are higher, these people are lower, shit like that. And Hinduism obviously has that too. Christianity didn't have that. They were like, no, dude, everyone rules hard as fuck. God loves everyone equally. We're all God as well. Shit like that. Like that's how that one got going. You know what I mean? It just ruled hard as fuck, and everyone was like, damn, that rules. That's how that's how they got him. And Islam, credit to Islam, because they figured it out, dude. They were like, all right, the Bible rules hard. The New Testament, everyone fucking loves the New Testament. They're just like, yeah, no, that's ours now. That's what they did. They're like, they say it's all Islamic, and it's like it's very clearly not. Like if you read the New Testament, it doesn't line up with like what the Quran says at all. But they were like, no, we're taking that one. We're taking that one. Like Jesus says, I am the Son of God, and they're like, we're just gonna ignore that part and take the fucking rest because this one's sick as hell. So that is it's a very good game plan by that. You know, very good one by Muhammad. Just taking something that already exists and being like, yeah, no, it's like you guys didn't understand it the first time. And I guess that's kind of what Christianity did, but they kind of just told the Old Testament to fuck off a little bit. Like anyone that's been to a Catholic church, we're not reading the Old Testament a lot. We're reading like Genesis and then like Exodus. You know, Genesis is like the creation story. I think you got some Cain and Abel in there, and I think Noah as well. Abraham, obviously, I think is in Genesis, and then you got Exodus, which is the sick ass story of Moses leading the Jews through the desert, which that must have fucking that must have sucked for Moses, dude. Moses was like leading these people through the desert, being like, all right, I'm gonna fucking deliver you guys to the promised land there. It's so hot out here. It's dusty. It's dusty. I can't, my nose, it gets in my nose and it makes me sneeze. Moses, we gotta stop here. I think that's how they got to Israel. Because they were like, Moses was just so sick and tired of the Jewish whining. There's no bagel shops. Where can I get pastrami at? He was like, all right, right here. That's where it is, dude. We've been wandering for 40 fucking years because you guys couldn't hold your own for 10 seconds. We're stopping in Israel, which is it's just another patch of fucking sand. Right? He led them from one patch of sand where they were slaves to another patch of sand where if I don't know if you guys are history buffs, didn't fare what too well for them in that patch of sand that is Israel, the Canaan land, whatever you want to fucking call it, palette. I don't really give a shit. They didn't go too well. They're doing decent now. They've got a shot now at it. I think they do. I think they do have a legitimate shot. Not the best shot in the world though. It's not it's not the best setup they got going. Just completely surrounded on every side. I guess they do have Lebanon, which is partially Christian, but it's not that Christian, dude. Like that's where Hezbollah's from, Lebanon. But I don't know. It's the best game plan they've had in a while, really, since Moses. It's the best they've had it really going on like that, right? Like it was Moses, that shit went well. About 3,000 years of getting fucked over by everyone, and now they get unlimited Hellfire missiles from Lockheed Martin in the U.S. So I think it's a solid, it's a thing they got going on here. It could work out for them, could not. You know what I mean? interesting business opportunity, and that's all it is, right? Like if you, especially for the Jewish mindset, it's just a business opportunity. How can we take advantage of this business? You think they'd be better at it, right? Like if they really did run Hollywood, like if the Jews really did run Hollywood and like the media and all that, you'd think they'd have like a better picture going on right now, right? You think they'd have like a better PR team or a better story. Their story is just, no, it was promised to us by God. You gotta cook up something other than that. You gotta do like the American playbook where you're like, no, we're here to make peace. Dude, lithium ion, I've never even heard of that. Are you out of your mind? What even is lithium ion, dude? I don't know science words. I'm here to bring peace. I'm here to bring peace to Afghanistan, dude. We're here to kill Saddam Hussein. What did he do? I don't nukes or something. I don't fucking know, dude. He's a bad guy. We're here to kill him. That's the gameplay, and they're trying to pull that one, trying to be like Hamas is like a threat to the world, and it's like Hamas isn't even a threat to Israel, right? Like we can pretty clearly see that, but they could draw something up there. They could be like, no, dude, you do not understand. Hamas is a threat to everyone. So I don't know. I don't know. They gotta. It's all about PR. All goes back to PR. What do people think about you? They gotta get the hot ones out there too. And that was a good pull by them getting Gal Gadot here because she's probably the hottest one. She's probably the best one they got right now. If I had to guess, I don't know. The other ones I've seen, you got like Rabbi Shmuley and his fucking gaggle of Whitakers, dude. That guy's the Jewish Whitaker. That guy is so fucked up looking. But then you got Gal Gadot, dude, like this 7 foot tall goddess warrior lady. So I think that's another thing they got to do, and that's what everyone's got to do, right? Like that's what the LGBTQ whatever the fuck has to do, right? Like especially with Trump coming back and like America kind of going back to like the right wing, like the 80s type of right wing where it's like they go to church on Sunday and they wear button-up shirts and shit like that. Like with America going back to that, the LGBT, they really need to get back on that gameplay. They really need to go back to like a step above Pete Buttigieg gay white dudes. You could even have like a few black ones out there, but they got to be really not gay. They got to be really, they have to be basically Obama, right? Like Obama, as we all know, is gay, dating Big Mike, married to Big Mike, getting dicked out, getting dug out by Big Mike. But the picture he puts on, it's a pretty good one. It's a pretty convincing one. And that's what the gays need to do. No more of these fucking 300-pound trans chicks, quote unquote, with a hairline further back than mine. You gotta get the fucking hot ones out here. It's fucking learn from Sean Evans, all right? Hot ones, everyone loves hot ones. So I think that's the game plan. That the L's and the G's and the B's and the T's and I guess the Q's, I don't know if that really counts, but they need to start getting hot ones out there. Start getting like I don't know, they had one in the NFL for a while. That could have been a solid game plan. Most of these guys are so fucking jacked up on steroids and testosterone and shit. You could definitely get them to fuck a dude. Guys, we got to get the game plan going. We got to get the PR going if you don't want to fizzle out, right? Like the whole non-binary, gender I feel like that's kind of run its course a little bit. Every once in a while you hear someone with like a they them pronoun or whatever, but it's pretty rare. It kind of fizzle everyone they threw it on all at once, right? Like if you ever tried to make like a campfire or anything, and you drop a whole bunch of leaves on there or something to like really get the fire going, it smothers the fire. Even if the leaves are gonna, eventually catch fire, you gotta take it a little bit slower than that, right? Like gay marriage was like federally legal in what, like 2012? I'm sure it's not even still federally legal, but and then they just went straight from like 2012 to 20 fucking like when did the whole non-binary thing start? Like 2017? You guys went 5. You can't do that. You got to get one as like a senator, right? You got to get like a senator from New Mexico to be like, yes, I love man dick, but I'm not going to talk about it too much, right? Like that's what they needed to do. They could have, if they embraced Tim Dillon like fully, which I don't know if he would be cool with that. Tim Dillon, he's my best friend. I talk to him all the time. I love doing that though. Being like, yeah, these podcasters I listen to, they're actually my best friend. Because some people actually believe that. They're like, no, you don't understand. If me and Tim Dillon met, we'd be best friends in the entire world. And it's like, I don't know. I think you just like listening to him talk. Like, from what I can tell, from what I've heard about Tim Dillon, it's like you get an hour of that dude a week. Like, that's not, you can't get to know someone like that. And especially when he's like doing a show. But from what I've heard from him, I do not think we would be the best friends in the entire world. That's a guy that loves luxury, right? Like, I've never been one of those guys that's like I love luxury, like really nice cars, fancy hotels, especially fancy food, dude. I love garbage food. I fucking not too garbage though. I got like a nice middle class garbage food type going on. You know what I mean? Like fucking turkey sandwiches with like mayonnaise and mustard. Like that's fire to me. Bacon, Chinese takeout, shit like that. I don't know if I've ever been to the upper echelon before, but if I have, I certainly didn't like the food like that. Like luxurious food, no, dude. Give me calories. Give me fucking. I got a peasant brain, peasant body, peasant fucking digestive system, dude. Give me the garbage. Feed it to me, dude. I'm Oscar the trash can over here. I'm like a piss pig. I'm like a cum pig, but for fucking Kraft mac and cheese with sriracha and tuna in it. That's what I am, dude. I'm one of those weird guys that loves cum, but I love mac and cheese with sriracha in it. There are the cum pigs out there though, dude. I just love cum, which is the funniest. It's so fun. Just loving cum. I don't know. I feel like that's definitely a thing that like some of the ancient cultures had going on, right? Isn't that maybe it's in South America or like Africa, maybe Australia. I can't remember. Might have been in fucking Europe for all I know. But there was this ancient civilization where like or maybe not ancient, I don't know how old they were, but it was like the chief or the king or whatever the fuck would go to the river and jack off into the river so that like the water was more fertile or something like that. So there have been cum pigs forever, dude. Everyone thinks, society is like degrading and getting like, more sexualized and profane and violent and all that shit, dude. There has been cum pigs since the beginning of time. But they loved it, dude. They loved the cum. So I think maybe we need to stop freaking out about that. Like people, it's the funniest thing ever when people are like, the country's more divided than it's ever been. And it's like, you guys know we fought a war about that, right? Like you're aware of that one, the Civil War where like a million fucking people. You guys remember that one? Where it's like, we're gonna have slavery or not? Are we gonna be able to own people? Remember that whole shebang? And it's like, no, dude, you don't understand. Whether a 24-year-old can cut her tits off and call herself Dan or whatever. That's the thing that divided the country. That's the thing that's going to cause the end of the country. Not deciding whether you can own people or not. It's whether fucking, it's whether a dude who thinks he's a chick with shoulders fucking wider than mine playing water polo. That's what's going to bring the country down. It could be that though. It could be that history it's very cartoonish in that way, where it's just like just some random incident like completely collapses a thing or is like an important factor in like the collapse of a country, right? Like mysticism. Mysticism in Russia was like a major, it was like a thing that really allowed the Bolsheviks to take over. It was like the Tsar and Tsarina of Russia were like super into like basically voodoo, basically white people Russian voodoo. They were super fucking into it, right? And like that's what Rasputin was. He was like a mystic leader who was like, if you just let me eat your ass or whatever, everything's gonna be okay, dude. It was that Bob Marley song, every little thing's gonna be okay. But instead of three little birds, it was Rasputin's bearded fucking yellow teeth eating the Tsarina's dirty ass. But that was like a major thing within the Russian Revolution. Is like these people were so, out of it. They believe in mysticism and shit like that. Like we gotta rise up against these fucking morons. I don't know how important it was. That was a complete probably a lie is the best way to put it, but complete and utter speculation there. But I'm pretty sure that's one of those things that would lead to the fucking collapse of the like if you saw that, like if Trump came out and he was like, yeah, I'm letting a guy eat my ass my wife's ass so that my son stops having hemophilia or whatever the fuck, right? Like if Trump came out and did that, that might get people into more of a frenzy. Or there's some people that are really into Trump. People might start letting it might be just a big ass eating fast, dude, if Trump came out and said that. It's really a 50-50 shot. Really a 50-50 there. It could go either way. I really could see people in Tennessee being like, "Hell yeah, Mr. Trump. I'm gonna let this guy eat my wife's ass too. My son's got a club foot. My son doesn't have any toes. He only has one toe and it's on his hand. So I'm gonna let this guy eat my wife's ass. That'll get this shit figured out." Which does bring us, since we're talking about Trump, I guess we did talk about Israel earlier. We got to talk about the news a little bit. We got to talk about. I'm looking at them. I got a few ones going on here. I do have one. I'll get started with our first one. This one is from the New York Post, and I don't know if that's one of those ones. Oh, a nice a nice ad for ranch. That's what America is. You try to read about the Ukraine-Russia war, and you get a fucking ad about Hidden Valley Ranch. You get fucking Verizon being like, yeah, our phones are actually different. It's like, no, everyone has the same phones. But this article is from the New York Post. And if you don't know, the New York Post isn't the most, I guess it's the oldest newspaper in America, but it's not the most reliable. Like, let me show you, you know how they have like the other articles that they've written recently that you can read about? Let me read you the headline of this one. Ex-flight attendant caught smuggling 100 pounds of new deadly drug made of human bones faces decades in prison. Uh, she must be Haitian or something. Those people love eating people and grinding up bones and shit. But this article is about the Russia-Ukraine war. So Vladimir Putin issues his conditions for ending the war in Ukraine. And I don't know if you guys are that into, the geopolitical state of the world, but he's been talking about this shit since the war started. He's been like, stop the NATO shit and give us like these two provinces in eastern Ukraine. Like that was his thing since the beginning, right? Of just being like, guys, just fucking, it's two little provinces. NATO stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Ukraine doesn't even touch the fucking Mediterranean Sea. What are you talking about? No, they can't join NATO, right? And I heard someone like point this out, right? Like a lot of people are like, why does he care if Ukraine joins NATO? Imagine if like China or Russia or whoever you think the enemy of America is, if you're a little bit older, let's say it's like Germany or something like that, was trying to get like Canada or Mexico. Like we fought, I think it was World War One. If you've never heard, it's called the Zimmerman Telegraph. It was this letter sent to Mexico from I think Germany or Austria or one of the central powers in World War One sent this letter to Mexico being like, "Yo, join our fucking thing," and that's what really got America, involved in World War One. So that's kind of the not exact equivalent, right? It's not like we're fighting one of Russia's allies right now, and they're trying to get, a team on the other side to do. It's similar though. I don't know where I was going with that explanation, but it's like if China, got a treaty going with Mexico, we'd be like, fuck no, you can't be fucking with China like that. We're gonna go fight China now. It's kind of, or we're gonna go, invade Mexico and not let them join this union with China. And so that's kind of how I've heard it be explained. I don't know if that's true at all. You hear Vladimir Putin even talk about this war, and he's going full Israel, dude. He's being like 1,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, Ukraine used to belong to Russia. He's getting real. He's got some deep cuts going on, dude. He's referencing movies no one's even heard of before. He's referencing like, French art films or something. He's going deep on these cuts. But President Vladimir Putin's conditions for ending the war in Ukraine include a demand that Western pledge, leaders pledge in writing to stop enlarging NATO eastwards and lift a chunk of sanctions, according to three Russian sources with knowledge of the negotiations. So that's all he's trying to do. He's like, stop, let us trade again. Stop the fucking NATO bullshit, dude. It's not, I don't know why America keeps trying to expand. It doesn't make any sense for us to like keep expanding NATO. They don't even do anything, right? Like the Europeans, like NATO is I guess it's like a military treaty, right? But America gives like 90% of the fucking money to like the military organization that is NATO. Or like I guess they have like a fund maybe or some bullshit like that. But we like fund like Germany's military, right? Like that's the reason Germany has like free healthcare and shit like that because America gives them like $100 billion. Fucking why? Why you want to do that with Ukraine now? The fuck are we doing here? I get it, Putin, dude. Putin's tired of the fucking bullshit, dude. He's an old black woman right now. He's an old black woman with some flabby arms, some fucking short gray hair, maybe a little wisp of like a goatee going on right now. He's just done with the bullshit. Why are you pushing over here? Why are you doing this, dude? He's getting ready to smack someone with a switch, dude. He's got a fucking ruler in one hand and a frying pan in the other, and he's getting ready to beat some fucking ass, dude. Even if he gets got, he's gonna get his more than he gets got, though. So shout out to Putin on that one, dude. This is a pro-Russia podcast. I wish it was. Everyone always talks about like these people like, oh, that guy's a Russian agent. That guy's I will be a Russian agent. I will 100%, without a doubt in my mind, be a Russian. I'll fucking claim Russian ancestry. I guess I kind of can because my ancestors are like Germans from Russia or some bullshit like that. Dude, I'll fucking claim that shit all day, dude. I'll do the accent. I'm pretty decent at the accent already. I'm wide the fuck open to, become a Russian media agent. Just let me do it. Let me do it, please. I'll start wearing a beanie, dude. Also, Alex Jones supplements. I don't care. I'll start selling fucking kettlebells. Whatever the fuck you want me to show, dude. Putin, please, dude. I would be so good at reading ads for tactical kettlebells. This kettlebell, if you want to be a real man, if you want to stand up to the pussy libs and their Ukraine bullshit, buy this kettlebell that's shaped like Vladimir Putin's head, dude. I'll do it. I'll 100%. I might not sell that many kettlebells, especially as a dude that isn't jacked at all. I'm in like decent shape. I'm in decent shape for like an American, but I will sell those kettlebells all fucking day. Putin, I will hop on a cycle of Test, Anavar, Trenbolone, whatever the fuck you want me to hop on so that I can sell tactical kettlebells to retarded right-wing people. I'll do it, dude. Please, Putin. But anyway, what does Trump have to say? President Donald Trump has repeatedly said that he wants to end the deadliest European conflict since World War II. Damn, dude. And has shown increasing frustration with Putin in recent days, warning on Tuesday the Russian leader was playing with fire by refusing to engage in ceasefire talks with Kiev as his forces made gains on the battlefield. Yeah, well, he's fighting a war, right? I don't think people fully grasp that Putin is fighting a war where lots of people are dying, and that if he fully loses this war or ends up with nothing, right? Like if he doesn't gain anything, the KGB or whoever the seedy agents of, the Russian government are, the oligarchs, I don't know, they're gonna fucking kill him if he doesn't if he doesn't get this shit done. Like everyone views him as a dictator. He's not a Kim Jong-un, dude. He's not, like that guy in Turkmenistan or Xi Jinping. He can get touched, dude. He's Macaulay Culkin around Michael Jackson. He could get touched. It's not likely, but Putin could get touched, right? And like this whole thing. So he's making gains on the battlefield and they want to have a ceasefire talk. It's like, of course he's not going to do that. He's leading a military campaign that I guess he's winning, right? He's making gains on the battlefield. He's winning it. Why the fuck would he enter a ceasefire talk, dude? Right? Like that's like when you're trying to like mac on a girl and like you get in like her pants a little bit and you're, circling the vagina hole, getting a little bit of the clitoris, rubbing the clit with your thumb, and she wants to start talking about her like relationship with her dad or whatever. It's like, no, dude, I can win this fight right here, right now, and you want to stop me. That's what this is like, right? It's like you got a girl, you're kissing on her a little bit, you know what I mean? Kissing her neck, making her way down a little slowly, fucking with the bra straps a little bit, looking at the mechanism that holds the bra, being like, can I get that fucking thing up undone, dude? I might just have to rip that off and rip that off her, dude. Try to be like a Christian Grey, 50 Shades of Grey type shit, just like, yeah, you're mine, right? And you're going down, right? You're working your way. You got your hand about midway up the thigh, right? Like you can feel a little bit of moisture, a little bit of humid air coming off the vagina. And she's like, my dad did this to me. And you're like, shut up, bitch. I don't care about your dad, your uncle, whoever the fuck is in here before me. I don't care. But that's what they're doing to Putin. That's what they're doing to him. They're blue balling him so hard right now. He's like, dude, I could fucking get to the Odessa province or whatever the fuck he's trying to get. I have no idea what he's trying to do with this one. But he's like, I could get there. He's got his hand right on the butthole. He's like, I could get some anal tonight, dude. I could. Lifelong dream come true. I could stick it in the butt, dude. And she probably wouldn't even cry that much. That's what Putin's doing. And she's over here trying to talk about her fucking math teacher that, flirted with her when she was 14 years old and she maybe sent a couple nudes to. Shut up. I don't care. Putin's horny. He's war horny. That's all it is. He's horny. He's trying to stick it in and he can't even there he's got the tip in. He's got the tip in and he's ready to go. It's been 6 months. He's ready to get after it, ready to get active, being like, I'm gonna fuck for 45 minutes. It's probably not gonna be more than 2, but he's ready. He's ready to fucking go. And they're like, My last boyfriend was like so abusive to me. Like he like would go through my phone and like one time he didn't let me go over to his house. That's what you're doing to Putin right now. And one thing about a dude with blue balls, that doesn't stop anything. That doesn't, I mean, in terms of, and I'm not, that maybe sounded a little bit like I was condoning rape or something, like trying to explain rape by being like, guys have blue balls, okay? That wasn't what it was. I'm just saying, if you stop Putin now, he's just gonna go jack off in the bathroom, and I don't know what that looks like on a geopolitical scale of like what Russia's gonna do. But if you blue ball him here, he's just gonna go jerk off in the bathroom and get cum all over your toilet, clog your toilet with cum and pubes and toilet paper. So I don't think you want to do that right now. Maybe ease him out of it a little bit. Maybe like wait till he gets soft and then be like talk about your dad. But I don't think it's gonna work here. After speaking to Trump for more than 2 hours last week, dude, nothing is that complicated, dude. They might just love each other. There's nothing on earth you need to talk about for more than 2 hours. God damn. Putin said that he had agreed to work with Ukraine on a memorandum that would establish the contours of a peace accord. This is like when people are like, "My boyfriend got me a promise ring." That's what this is, right? It's like that doesn't, but what does that mean, right? Putin's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get ready to like maybe think about doing this with Ukraine." It's like that doesn't it doesn't mean anything, right? It's purely talk. He's like, "No, dude, I'm horny. My balls are big. My dick is small but hard." And I'm ready to stick it in a lady, dude. I'm ready to stick my dick right into Ukraine, and you're gonna stop me. All right. Russia says it's currently drafting its version of the memorandum and cannot estimate how long that will take. Yeah, it means nothing. This thing isn't going to get done anytime soon, especially when you consider how much money like American companies are making from it. Like America hasn't had like a big war like this, like a big conventional war like this really since Korea, right? Like you can maybe say like Operation Iraqi Freedom or Desert Storm or maybe something like that is a little bit similar, but those lasted like a week or two max. We haven't had like a big long, war, conventional war with artillery and planes and drones and whatever the fuck else in a long while, right? Where you could like utilize all the things that you made. And so that's another reason that a lot of people think America wants to keep the Ukraine war going because it's when America gives Ukraine $150 billion for weapons or whatever, what there's conditions that come with that $150 billion, right? And one of the conditions, I think it might be NATO weapons just generally, or it might be American weapons, but they have to buy weapons from certain weapons manufacturers, like Lockheed Martin, like I don't know if Raytheon, Boeing, let's say, General Dynamics, shit like that. They have to buy weapons from them, and so this is making America and the American military industrial complex a whole lot of fucking money. But yeah, a written message in business or diplomacy, that's what a memorandum is. A note or record made for future use. Yeah, Putin's just writing down on a little fucking sticky note being like, yeah, fuck with Ukraine or stop fucking with Ukraine or whatever the fuck he has going on here. And then I have another one. I'm not going to talk about this one too much, but get ready for several years of killer heat top weather forecasters warn. I just wanted to read the first, not even paragraph, I guess it's the first sentence of this thing. Get ready for several years of even more record-breaking heat that pushes Earth to more deadly, fiery, and uncomfortable extremes. Two of the world's top weather agencies forecast. And if you want to, you can take a guess as to the ethnicity of the person who wrote this thing. I'm just gonna say his name. His name is Seth Borstein, and he's got a Borat nose on it, dude. This is Seth Boratstein. This man is Borat with a fucking crew cut or whatever the fuck. This is an incredibly Jewish man. But the whole thing with like the global warming scare, it's even if global warming is true and everything everyone's saying about it is 100% true, you're not gonna get anyone to listen with this shit. Being like, the fucking world's gonna end. It's like the people who like start like these doomsday cults or whatever, right? Like the Seventh Day Adventist. The reason all of Christianity hasn't gone over there yet is because it's like, all right, well then it's 100% out of my control, right? Like when you tell people the world's gonna burst into a ball of flames and everyone's gonna die and explode at the same fucking time if we don't instantly convert all our coal plants to like wind turbines or whatever, people are just gonna be like, all right, that's way too fucking much. I'm not gonna deal with this. Like that's just too much fucking bullshit in there. I'm not gonna deal with this, right? It's like if you were fucking like talking to someone for the first time and they just pulled out every single piece of bullshit from their entire life, right? It's like, yeah, my mom died when I was 4, and then my dad died when I was 5. And then I went to live with my grandma, and she didn't die, but she abused the fuck out of me. She fingered my butthole when I was 5 years. That's what this is. It's like we've met people, most people have met people like that before. So they just start talking about all like the shit in their lives, and you're like, dude, you might be like a cool, funny person. I might fuck with you, but what the fuck are you talking? Dude, I'm not dealing with all this. That's what this is. That's the only real thing I wanted to say from this article. And they're gonna pretend to be scientific or whatever. Yeah, they don't really know like that. And I think the other thing, about what we're doing, what we got going on with the whole, global warming shit, is that people just aren't going to give up the creature comforts of their life, right? Like not even the things that they feel are necessary for life. They're not going to give up the creature comforts of it unless you can give them a viable alternative, right? Like some of these things are like, stop, it's like the don't turn up your heat in the wintertime, just wear a sweater. Okay, that's that's fine. Like that's a usable one. But then there's other ones where it's just like complete. It's like stop riding your car to work, ride a bike. It's like, dude, I live 45 minutes out in the middle of the fucking suburbs. There's not a sidewalk for miles. I'm gonna have to ride through bumpy, potholed up strip mall parking lots for 50 fucking miles to get to work. And so I think we need to have some reasonable compromises here, and maybe accept the fact that nuclear energy isn't that bad. I don't want to get on nuclear energy too much, but like even solar panels that fucks up the only one that doesn't excessively fuck up the environment is fucking nuclear reactors. It's just people are they hear the word nuke and they get fucking scared. And I guess, that's fair enough. They get killed like 400,000 Japanese with 2 of those things. So I can't get too mad at them. But like all the biggest nuclear disasters of all time, right? Like nuclear reactor disasters, you have Chernobyl is the most famous one. And that wasn't a nuclear disaster. That was just Soviet people being retarded. That was just that was just the fact that communism, especially in Russia and especially in the late 80s when it happened, was not functional in any way, shape, or form. That's all that is. Right? Like it's not it had nothing to do with the nature of nuclear reaction for energy. It was just the Soviets were completely incompetent. And my favorite example from that is so when you're doing a nuclear reaction, the way you slow it down, like when all the atoms and protons and all that shit are like bouncing around, is you put in these control rods, which slow the reaction down. And the control rods, I think the modern ones are made from like cesium or something like that. The Russians had boron control rods, which are already like old and shitty. I guess it was in Ukraine too, it was also where Chernobyl was, but you guys know what the fuck I mean. They had boron control rods. And more importantly than that, not only did they have these control rods that were like super shitty, right? Like that's having like a BlackBerry nowadays. It's like you can't, it's like having a BlackBerry and try to like try to write like a computer program on it. That's kind of what that is like, especially for a reactor as big as the, Chernobyl reactor. But the other thing about these rods is that they were tipped in graphite. And what graphite does is it speeds up a nuclear reaction. So I don't know. And I think the only reason they had the control rods tipped with graphite is because it was cheaper, right? Like there was no, chemistry fucking reason. Like some engineer didn't come up with that because it would make it function better. It was cheaper. And so when they went to put the control rods in like this crazy reaction that was like going haywire, it blew the whole thing up. They basically made a nuclear bomb. That's how poorly designed the Chernobyl nuclear reactor was. It was basically a step away from being a nuclear bomb. It's, yeah, that's all I say. We got to move towards nuclear energy. I think that's the future. A lot of people talk about like solar panels or whatever, and it's like, yeah, that's cool, but like what happens when there's not sun outside? Like I don't know if you guys are familiar with weather, but there's not always a fuck ton of sun outside. but the sun has set. The sun has set on Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's divorce. Brad Pitt, who finalized his divorce from Angelina Jolie in December, 8 years after her initial firing in 2016. Guys, I know Angelina Jolie, you look at her now and you don't see the vision. Angelina Jolie in fucking Tomb Raider, like that's probably every time, even after like all the plastic surgery that she obviously got, and like her face turned into a basset hound. Even after that happened, Brad Pitt was probably still looking at her like fucking Laura Croft. When did they get married? They got married in 2014. Holy shit, dude. I did not know what Angelina Jolie was looking like in 2014. But yeah, I mean, Laura Croft, Angelina Jolie, probably one of the hottest chicks of all time, right? And the other thing about Angelina Jolie, I've never heard the woman talk before. And she did adopt like 1,000 Vietnamese kids or whatever, which I'm sure Brad Pitt wasn't too thrilled with. But it doesn't seem like she's a big bitcher like that. I can understand why it took Brad, 8 years to get that done, and they were probably still hooking up on the side a little bit. He was still getting a bit of sucky sucky here and there, you know what I mean? When he wasn't sacrificing kids to Moloch on Epstein's Island, he was getting a little bit ahead from Angelina Jolie. So he's a lover boy, dude. Brad Pitt, he's a full-on lover boy. But after a contentious 8-year battle, the F1 actor and Angelina Jolie finalized their divorce in December. It's so funny. They mentioned Brad Pitt's new movie that's coming out, F1. It would be so funny if this was like a publicity stunt for Brad Pitt where he's like, I'm not gonna fuck her anymore. And then he was like, fuck, dude, I do have a movie coming up. I might I might divorce her, just bring a little attention, get like an extra million at the box office or something like that. That might be exactly what this is. I think I cracked the code on it. I do think he's still fucking with Angelina, and I can't blame him. Does Angelina Jolie have big tits? Let's look this up. We got to confirm, guys. And this is the other thing about this. You might think, what are you talking about? You were just talking about the Ukraine war. Now you're talking about Angelina Jolie and her tits. I'm just getting myself in the mind space for the porn ranking that's coming up. Angelina Jolie boobs. This is like a 2014 fap. She's got the things on her. That was a. It does look like she got implants. Unfortunately, this is from Bizarre Medical Center, something like that. It does look like she got implants, but even before that, she had the motherfucking things on her. So, shout out to Angelina Jolie. Love you, Brad Pitt. I'm seeing her now, seeing her do some sexy poses that are also kind of artsy at the same time. Poor Brad, dude. Fuck, dude. My goddamn internet. All right, I don't know if that kept recording, but my internet fucking disconnected for a second there. But I mean, it was probably because I was looking at the Angelina Jolie tits, dude. They were like, we cannot let this guy get this powerful. And then this is another one. I'm trying to talk about tech a little bit more just to get like a better understanding of it in my own life. Because as much as people try to be like, boycott AI or whatever the fuck the libs on Twitter are saying, you're not going to stop it. So we might as well learn a little bit more about it. And this one is about quantum computing. Now, I was thinking about this. I might do the full episode on Sunday about quantum computing. We did robots. We're taking some steps up right here. We started off with like the cool shit that everyone loves. Everyone fucking loves robots, dude. Maybe it's just me. I love them, dude. Some of my favorite movies, Chappie, The Creator. I can't name another one, but I love robots, dude. Chappie's one of my favorites. I love robots. But quantum computing is a little bit more boring, I think. It's a little bit more technical, Like in the robots episode, we were talking about ancient Greek myths and shit like that. But quantum computing is like, I don't think Aristotle was it's like fucking talking about myths about computers that can do like calculus really fast. I don't think that was one of his main concerns. So quantum computing is a little bit gayer. And we also did the Terry Davis episode where we talked about programming a fair bit. So I think we might do quantum computing this week just to get a better understanding of it. But basically, this whole article is about how new quantum computers might fuck up the Bitcoin market a little more than they thought it would. So the way you get Bitcoin is basically you can do it, I guess maybe technically, but you have a computer solve math equations. That's how you get a Bitcoin, right? It's called Bitcoin mining. You have a computer set up and like there's all these math equations you have to do, I guess, to get a Bitcoin. Like that's the bare basics of how it works. And I guess they thought quantum computers wouldn't be necessarily good at that, but I guess they are better at it than they thought. And just the name quantum computer as like a dumb person who doesn't know anything about computers, like just the name makes me think like, yeah, that thing that sounds like some shit from Star Wars or Star Trek or some shit like that. Like that thing like sounds like it can do something. That thing sounds like it could like infiltrate my brain or something like that. That's I think of like the Matrix or something like that. I have no fucking idea, but I do think that was a misstep, right? And that's why you need dumb people like me, just to be like, nah, the vibe of that isn't right. Doesn't make any sense. Like that's what the modern world, especially in academia, is missing. Just someone being like, nah, doesn't seem right. Don't care what the science says. Doesn't seem right to me. But a new research paper by Google Quantum AI research Craig Gidney. God, that guy's a fucking nerd. Craig Gidney. Hey, Gidney. That guy definitely. I can just see the last name Gidney on on like the waistband of Tidy Whities getting pulled up by some big dick jock in middle school. I could 100% see that. Let's look up what Craig Gidney looks like. Craig Gidney. Yeah, Craig Gidney's like allergic to like soybeans or something like that. He's a Google scholar. I'm seeing a black guy and then I'm seeing a white guy. I don't know who's who. Okay, the white guy is the computer, Craig. I don't know, dude. This black guy, he does look like African black, like Nigerian or something maybe. But yeah, Craig Gidney, dude. He's got an Amish haircut, dude. He has the Amish like bowl cut. He looks like Mose from The Office. That's what he's got going on. He does have a mustache though, dude. The mustache is saving him. But yeah, no, this guy's a dweeb for sure. But what does Craig Gidney have to say? That breaking widely used RSA encryption may require 20 times fewer quantum resources than previous believed. The finding did not specifically mention that Bitcoin, and then it has the price of Bitcoin right next to it. I guess it's at $100,000 again, which is fucking insane. It swings wildly back and forth. This is Zimbabwe currency or other cryptocurrencies, but took aim at the encryption methods that form the technical backbone used to secure crypto wallets, in some cases, transactions. So is he saying that they could hack like people's wallets and shit? Because I know you can like I don't know if you go to bitcoin.com and you just plug in your computer and tell it to mine or something like that. But it sounds like he's making a threat, dude. Craig Gidney. This is why you can't bully nerds too much, like real nerds. Like you can bully like a dumb geek or like a dweeb or some dude who just plays Dungeons and Dragons all day. You can't bully a real nerd like this. Okay, you can't do it because that motherfucker, he's gonna rise up against you and he's gonna come back and hit you 10 times harder. Especially with all the bros that are in crypto. Like I think Trump dropped his own crypto coin, which is fucking insane. I'm not one of those people that when everyone was like Trump needs to sell his company, I wasn't like, no, he doesn't need to do that. It's other people have had companies that were, fucking Dick Cheney and Raytheon. Although maybe that is a reason why Trump should have sold his company because there was a major, clash of interest there. But Gidney's a real fucking dweeb like that. And I was just saying Trump started his own crypto coin, which is insane, but which is it just shows how like bro-y crypto is now. And Craig Gidney, the fucking nerd who had chocolate milk poured in his Amish hair every day, his Amish bowl cut every day, he's gonna steal all your fucking cum rocket and Bitcoin from you, dude. He's had enough. He has had enough. And then this last one is about Elon Musk. So Elon Musk says he's disappointed by Trump's big beautiful bill and what it means for Doge. And I think the first quote here, maybe it's later on down the line. It was one of my favorite ones from it. So Elon Musk says he is disappointed by the price tag of the domestic policy bill passed by Republicans in the House last week and heavily backed by President Trump. The billionaire who recently stepped back from running the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, made the remark during an exclusive broadcast. Okay. I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decreases it, and undermines the work that the team is doing, that the Doge team is doing. What fucking work are they doing? Even like the Republicans can't point to something. They're like, yeah, they stopped PBS. It's like, oh, now the kids can't watch Sesame Street. Yeah, that's what I was talking about when I said the government spending too much money. That's what the fuck I was talking. I was talking about Sesame Street. I was talking about a pedophile with his fucking hand up a puppet's ass being like, Elmo loves chocolate. That's what the fuck I was talking about. I wasn't talking about all this other bullshit. I wasn't talking about the fact that, people are manipulating markets and passing bills and spending government money in a certain way so that they can fucking make a fuck ton of money. That's not what I was talking about. I wasn't talking about that corruption. I wasn't talking about, how the government were coming out with a new fighter jet every other year. Meanwhile, China just fucking puts a bunch of steel plates on a fucking Cessna and calls it the greatest fighter jet to ever exist. I wasn't talking about any of that. I was talking about Elmo. I was talking about librarians. That's what the fuck I was talking about. What money did they cut? That I think they've spent more money trying to cut fucking shit than they did, making money from cutting it. He has a quote here though that is just it's very bad. I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, Musk told CBS News, but I don't think that it can be both, my personal opinion. And this is where, I called it. I knew Trump was going to push Elon out and then just bully the fuck out of him. He was going to use Elon Musk to, do his little scapegoat bullshit. He's going to basically patsy Elon Musk, push him out, and then talk shit about him. And this is where the shit talking starts. Because Trump saying something's big and beautiful, that's him giving his like highest honor he can to it, right? It's the biggest and the most beautiful, right? It's like a nice fat BBW with a pretty face. It's big and beautiful, and this is the BBW of bills. It's a big beautiful bill, all right? It's a BBB, folks. It's quite impressive. And Musk saying this shit, first of all, it's unoriginal, right? It's completely derivative. He could have come up with something else. I don't know. I don't got anything on my mind, and he certainly didn't. If you know anything about that guy, he certainly didn't have anything on his mind in that department. He's not the best talker, not the best talker in any way, shape, or form. But Trump's going to come back and hit him 10 times harder, right? First of all, he's going to slash all the money SpaceX is getting. He's going to be like, shut the fuck up. We're shutting NASA down as a whole. Now SpaceX isn't getting any money, bitch. All right? I don't give a fuck about Mars. Saturn, maybe with the sick ass rings, but I don't give a fuck about Mars taking all your money away from you. And he's going to be like, big and beautiful, just like Elon Musk's weird chest. Have you seen his chest, folks? It's big and it's not beautiful. It's true what he said. Something cannot be big and beautiful. And I'm talking about his weirdly shaped body. It's concerning, folks. And Trump's going to do that to him and fuck him up completely. And then Tesla stock prices are going to crash even harder than they did in the first place. But I'm right? It's all about bullying. It's all about PR. It's all about your image. And I hope you have a good day and a good week and a good year and a good summer and a good life. And I hope everything goes well for you. I really do. I hope it goes well for you. Maybe some of you, I hope it goes bad for you. Yeah, I'm certain no one's listening to this. But if there was anyone listening to this, I'm sure there would be at least one or two people that I would, hope things don't go well for. But I've never been a big grudge guy before in my life. I've never been someone to be like, fuck you, I hate you for the rest of my. I don't know. I can't be that dedicated to really anything like that. So I've never been a big grudge guy. So if I am internally, hoping against you subconsciously, just know it's not going to last for long. It's going to last at most 2 hours, maybe 2 days. But I do hope it goes well for you, ultimately. Unless you're trying to kill all the Jews again, in which case, I do hope it goes well for you. But have a good day, good week, good year, good life. I'll see you guys on Sunday. Peace.